now for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
Finally, the Shop Report special presentation of the Turnbuckle has come back
to StreamYard and back online, man. How we doing, Double J?
Man, we're moving on a Monday. The new era is here. As you see, a new era of us had to follow suit.
Yes.
So I, of course, am your host, Double J. We're talking all things Raw and within the squared circle as a whole. And I got my guy to my right, your left, none other than D Gully from the Columbus. Welcome back.
Welcome. Happy New Year. Happy new 2025. I wish everybody well. Let's get this year off started right. May you accomplish your goals. May you get to your disciplines. May you get back to being the best version of yourself that you can be. I'm going to start with me, and I'm going to lead by example. Double J, how about yourself, my man?
Yeah, it's all about growth, right? Self-reflection and continue kind of this ascend into making those things reality. And so the program, of course, keeps taking a step forward as well. That is not to be left behind. And so right away, of course, we're entering a new era within the Netflix space. But more importantly, we have now entered the new, before we dive into that part of it, I want to take us back to 2024 really quickly.
Okay.
And wanted to get your thoughts on a candid conversation that took place between King Ricochet and what appears to be a fan.
Oh, man. Man, the fact. Yo.
Do I need to read this?
You know what? Read Ricochet.
Okay.
And then that first response, Mr.
Right.
Reddington. First of all, what does Ricochet say?
So Ricochet says, "Shut up. That's why you had to work on Christmas, broke boy."
And the reply?
You work once a week, which gives you 6 days to work on your promos, and you still can't cut one on X.
Yo, finished, flamed, torched, burned.
Check this out. So, we'll keep this thing rolling here. So he goes, Ricochet then replies, "Broke boy also isn't very innovative. Same old expletive. Nothing original inside his broke ascot head." Ha ha. To the reply of Mr. Reddington, "Instead of toilet paper, they should have thrown your ascot some cue cards. At least it would dispel the illiterate rumors."
Oh.
Whew.
There's more? Was there more?
Yeah, but I wasn't. That was enough for me. I can't go with that entire exchange, bro.
Man, it's worse, man. It's worse. It keep getting bad for him. Like it shouldn't be this bad because he's a talent. Like we like to see him. And then then we see that maybe WWE did more to help him than we thought, right? Like it's almost like In WWE's case, it's like, I can show you better than I can tell you, or he can show you better than we can tell you. Like we told you where he is by letting him go, despite the talent that all these fans see, that all the fans see. We told y'all who he is. Ricochet gonna show you guys why we let him go, and he's showing that because he don't have the level of support that he thought he would have, and that can be tough. But it's a matter of how you handle that. And so what we're seeing is the adversity that he's getting, despite the talent. We see how he's handling that, and it doesn't look like it's a good job of handling that adversity, right? And everybody have a choice. It's not to suggest that if we were in his shoes, we would handle it better, but very few of us are professional wrestlers. So who are we to say that he's the best or he's the greatest? We're not professional wrestlers. We only observe what we observe. So if we can look at him and say he's one of the, he's good or great, he's a great talent in the ring, and we don't wrestle ourselves and we're not performers ourselves, then how can we qualify and say, yeah, he's one of the great wrestlers in the ring, when we also look at how he's handling adversity and we can criticize, hey, he's not handling this very well. We should be able to say that. Both things can be true. If I can have an opinion not being a wrestler, I can also sit in the position of watching how he handles the adversity he's experiencing and saying, this is not a good look. I wouldn't have to go that route. I wouldn't go the route of KD's burner account on fans. Smart marks are going to be there, and they're going to remain there. Actually, smart marks are what, in my opinion, drives the business, because they'll set a direction by which the business, the mainstream, whatever it is, though, the business or whatnot, will misdirect or will play off of, to intentionally misdirect or to move in a different direction. You see what I'm saying? So smart marks are getting to him, and he's not handling it well because he's battling. Second of all, if you really can't shoot the dozens, it's okay. Don't shoot the dozens if you can't do it. If you really can't rap, it's okay. Quit trying to rap. If you really can't fight, quit putting yourself in positions where you got to fight. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't shoot the dozens with people if you can't. You don't have to be able to shoot the dozens. He keep trying to shoot when he can't shoot. And it's getting more embarrassing. And so it's compounding the frustrations that he's going to deal with for himself. So he got to put a hard stop on that. I would go to Travis Hunter route for a bit. You know what I'm saying? Get off social media, and then get back to doing things that are beneficial. Get back to doing things where I handle it in the way that I can best handle it. I handle it in a way that best helps me to maintain my character, my composure, to maintain my boundaries, and then get back out there. Smart marks are going to be there. They're never going to like you all the way. They're never going to respect you all the way. You know that. You've been in this business way too long not to understand that. And you know that you ain't going to quiet all the smart marks, but you can get back, retool, and refigure out and recalibrate who you are, and then get back to doing what you love best. That's what my recommendation for Ricochet. This year is only going to continue to get worse if he continues to go the same route.
I mean, that's a fantastic point. I'm staying out of it, bro. I can't get I don't got no Twitter fingers on my end. So
neither does Meek Mill.
Right. So needless to say, moving right along, we also had an update and clarification from Big Bronson Reed, and he said, let's clear up some things. Dirt sheets report ankle fracture or injury. I unfortunately smashed my talus bone completely in half. I had it surgically repaired with screws and fragments taken out. Also had some bone marrow taken from my hip and put into my foot. Now, I want to say this. If I understood correctly, when it came to extraction of bone marrow, I thought, at least when it came to the spine, they do that without anesthesia.
Ooh.
So just again, my assumption, I don't know if both someone, WebMDs out there can, correct me. But just a thought on the severity of and how painful that alone was. Now this means I won't be at Raw Netflix premiere. Don't expect a Rumble surprise. And the biggest loss is no Mania. Please keep up with me on social at this time. Understand I've had a serious injury, undergone serious surgery, and have serious implications from it. It's not merely a fracture. Oh, man.
Hey, man, dirt sheets are dirt sheets. They had to have something to address why you ain't there related to what they saw. So, like, he going hard at the dirt sheets as well, but I don't think he has to. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you don't want to. If somebody's kind of like being a hater in a sense, maybe the dirt sheets are hating on him by way of the manner in which they're talking about his injury, but they're not going to care or concern. They're not going to have much care and concern to get it right for whatever reasons, right? It don't sell that well. Irrespective of that, him being very transparent about what's going on with him is, I think it's a sign of his character. Like, I got a lot of, I've earned some more respect for him because he took the care and he took the time to actually detail what's going on with him. And he did it in a very, I think, concise way. And he did it, aside from the dirt sheet, attacking the dirt sheets or whatever, he did it and he made himself vulnerable. He don't have to do that. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that. You don't have to be so vulnerable and open and with the public. And he chose to do that. And I respect him for it. It gave us a real idea of what we're dealing with and why we won't see him for some time. And so, yeah, he left the invitation open to keep up with him on social media, such that he's going to be updating us on social media. So I wish him well. I wish him well, as a person. And I hope he does get back, fully to doing what he loves. And I look forward to him coming back after this injury, him being healthy again, and then him continuing and getting back to the status that he was to get that push for him to do some great things in WWE. But it was really great for him to, to be clear and express and open us into the world of open up his world to us. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty cool of him. So shout out to Bronson Reed, and shout out to Gibby
Yes,
out
sir.
Here. What's going on, Gibby? Happy New Year.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And, one of the things that's often overlooked by ourselves included, we may be critical occasionally on, there we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, man, big ups, big happy birthday. This the year you get the fantasy title. And again, we're gonna have that fantasy league next year. So
yeah, we're gonna do the pick'ems as well, and we're gonna do the fantasy football. So I'll be in there actually, not only with the recommendations, I'll be testing, I'll be putting it into practice. You'll see me and my team suit up as well.
Hey, look, when you win the pick'em league, obviously he was just taking it easy on everybody on the fantasy side. So
yeah,
we definitely
y'all needed to have something to win. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to take all of them.
Exactly. So, all right, I'm not going to hold back on this any longer.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, are going to dive right into it with this dude right here,
man.
And
Agent Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Man, look, there's a lot to discuss. That's why I'm not going to waste any more time, right? So The Rock comes out and welcomes everybody to the new era. Check this out though, because I don't necessarily agree with this.
Okay.
He thanked Cody Rhodes for carrying the WWE on his back the last year
Okay.
And says, of course, that he was going to be watching to see who wins the tribal combat between, of course, Roman and Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just wanted to get your thoughts first on him saying that Cody carried the company.
Well, it's true in the sense that the WWE champion, the WWE champion, the undisputed champion, in this case, was the focal point of the brand of the company this year. I think that sometimes in years past it hasn't always been, or the world heavyweight champion would also, I think, carry that in tandem with the universal champion. I think this year it was, in fact, it was Cody that carried, it was Cody that was the standard bearer for WWE as a brand. We look at too how critical, we look at how critical we've been of his booking through much of his run. And the only reason why we were doing that is because we wanted him to be positioned and him to continue to be showcased as the best talent that he is, right? So even though we were critical of his booking, we still made it a focal point of our shows and our commentary because, in fact, he was the leader. We didn't care about the booking of the World Heavyweight Championship as much, did we? Right? We didn't. We didn't give it as much attention as we did the Universal Champion, because the Universal Champion was the leader. And through many of his matches, right, we commented and we talked about what we expect to see and how we liked what we saw from him in AJ Styles to begin his run. We liked what we saw from him later, having the crown jewel match with Gunther, right? All of those matches and the ones we didn't like, the Logan Paul main event, the ones that we did like, him versus Kevin Owens, all that energy we spent towards it goes to suggest that I think he is, and he did carry the company, and he did well in spite of, I think, some of the questionable booking decisions that the powers that be placed him in. I don't know how much creative control he have. If we pulling back the curtain, if we're shooting on it, I don't know how much creative control he have. I don't think he had as much as we thought he may have, because I don't think that if he had creative control the way that we think he would, I don't think he would have put himself in certain positions like that. I know he wants to be the guy as a leader to help bring up the next talent, right? He's not going to be selfish with it. He's not going to hold on to it. He's not going to do, quote unquote, what the real American did with his position as being that top dog in the company, and a few others. He's not. I know I trust Cody not to be that type. Nonetheless, there's still stronger booking he could have. And all that being said, he still was that guy. I still wanted to see a Cody Rhodes match. That to me is indicative of who a leader is in that company, who the leader is for WWE. And he was that, and he did carry the company. So I agree with The Rock.
Well, again, I see it slightly different. I do get the angle. I will acknowledge that part of it. And I also agree with kind of the point that you made about the creative control and how it'll be interesting to see in the future how that was handled. But I also think, as we talked about, this was a transitional year. Not to call him necessarily a transitional champion, but it actually takes as critical as I've been, I don't know, call it kind of, new year, new me. But I now actually respect it quite a bit more, because you couldn't actually just have anyone holding that title during something like that.
Okay.
And that to me speaks about the caliber and class that Cody we already knew, was there because or should have been there, right? That's never truly a guarantee. And we see countless stories of that. But so I definitely want to make sure that I give the kudos where it's certainly due, because I don't think Roman Reigns could have done that. I don't think
you don't think Roman Reigns could have done what?
That this past year's run was more promo dark matches.
Okay.
That does not suit your traditional face of the franchise type of past champions.
Okay.
That's where I'm going with it. So as critical as I've been about things that are likely outside of his control.
Yeah.
They merely had to put him into these almost bizarre type of scenarios that if you were truly a champion, right? Like the guys that we've seen on Howard Stern at one point in time and countless other programs headlining. You don't see them in dark matches.
Right. You don't see them doing dark matches. You don't see them on the road, on the tours, working the nights in, nights in and out like we done. Now, we don't see it typically. Now, that's not to suggest that it doesn't happen and it hasn't happened. I just know, well, if you agree with me or if I agree with you, if I'm tracking with you, what you're saying is, I don't know in modern times, in modern era, what universal champion, what top dog in the company maintain that work rate and then put himself in positions, right? So put himself in positions with like promo building matches, right? Such that, to make it plain, who else would have put themselves in a position? Who would have booked themselves in a position to get the rubber chicken storm? Right? Brock wouldn't have, certainly. Roman probably wouldn't have. Randy Orton probably wouldn't have. Cena probably wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? But Cody still was that guy for the company that would still walk down these precarious roads, jeopardizing his brand, and still did that for the sake of the company. And survived it, really. And survived it, because now he's getting the quality matches, the ones that are marquee matches, the ones that do make you think, yo, could this be the night that he drops the title? You know what I'm saying? Ones that are a bona fide challenge, and like, hey, you could lose. So I like what you're saying there. I like what you said there, and I agree with you. And I think I'm getting more respect as well for this type of run. Nonetheless, though, the question is, who could it be? Who would it be? Who will it be? Could it go back to Roman? What do you think? Could it go back to Roman? It's almost like I kind of don't want it to just yet. I would like for somebody else to be there.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because how this match ends up playing out is, of course, Roman becomes victorious.
Yeah. And
what I thought for certain was going to be one of these two outcomes, either, as you see, he would go on to, of course, give the tribal chiefs, for lack of a better term, necklace. I'm not going to butcher and be disrespectful to what it's actually called by mispronouncing it. And I thought, maybe Paul Heyman would have intervened and not allowed him to do so, or, shades of Taker and, of course, Paul Bearer.
Right.
Or I thought he was going to rock bottom his behind.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen either. So, again, what do you make of that in terms of both potentially Roman being a champion? Again,
see,
you get the Rock.
I feel like that was the prime opportunity to book Roman as a face, to book The Rock as a heel, if he would have done that, the stage is set now for Roman Rock at WrestleMania night 1 and night 2, and everyone's bought into that. Maybe it would have appeared obvious. I don't know if it would have appeared obvious, but sometimes, you don't need to be. Sometimes you want the obvious thing, right? Sometimes you just know what it is, right? Sometimes you walk into the bar, you walk into the club, and you see what you see, and you just know what it is. Okay, and the surprise or the payoff isn't the ambiguity, isn't the surprise, but the payoff is the known logical route to take, right? What you're saying, The Rock comes in, gives him the rock bottom, maybe looks at Paul Heyman, maybe the swerve is set in there. Don't know. Though I can't imagine a scenario where Paul Heyman would need The Rock or The Rock would need a Paul Heyman. So I could. It'd be hard for me to imagine those forces ever aligning. The Rock does not need a mouthpiece. That's what Paul Heyman is. The Rock don't need nobody by his side. That's one of the things, to his credit, that's how he built himself. He don't need nobody by his side ever, right? So same as Stone Cold, right? But I digress. So if we had The Rock go heel again, final boss Rock show up again, oh, it would have been perfect. It would have been. It's right there. It's a wide open pass. Touchdown's already there. All you gotta do is catch the ball, and they dropped it, or they fail to make the throw. Instead of that, he see it, look it off. Then they do a delayed handoff, and it's bottled up in the backfield. They certainly dropped the ball, I think, on that one. But what you had set up, Double J, perhaps The Rock to go heel at that moment, in that moment, would have been ideal. Because at that point, then we would have been ready to accept The Rock at WrestleMania in a main event. Maybe night 1, maybe night 2. And I'd have been here for it.
So I think I'm completely in agreement with you that there was the opportunity for it. And not only was there the opportunity, I thought it was a sure thing. But now that it hasn't, you brought up Mania, does this completely table that won't occur now?
No, there's still a possibility. We still got plenty of time, right? We still have a Royal Rumble, and we still have Elimination Chamber, right? Before that,
Correct.
All right, we got Rumble, we got Elimination Chamber, and we got WrestleMania. There's still plenty of time. Maybe it's a case of we don't want to give away all the surprises on our first night on Netflix. But I can't. I'm still on a position where, like yourself, I think a moment was missed. I think a prime moment was missed by letting it play straightforward. And again, we could all be. This is where the WWE creative can take and manipulate the smart marks and the dirt sheets to their favor. Maybe that was in fact the intention. It just don't happen this week because we all were ready for it. So we don't want to be right and want to be experts and then amplify our ability to be right because we guessed. Maybe they're moving it and they see that energy and then they're going to move counter to that energy. And the ideas that the dirt sheets and the smart marks and the fanboys thing. I don't know, but I still think it's a missed opportunity nonetheless.
Yeah, and I think I'm with you on that. I'm going to echo that part of it, that it's not that it won't occur. It's just they're going to keep us on our toes, that this is a new era. And with that being said, before we dive into the remainder of tonight's first new Netflix era Raw, we will be taking our first break.
It's Kate Cunningham, and you watching The Shop Report. I'm Harvey Diallo, and you watching The Shop Report.
My name's Chris Marine, you're watching The Shop Report.
You're Jay Knight, you're watching The Shop Report.
Max McKee, you're dropping in on The Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Man. We're at Mercury Stadium, and you're watching The Shop Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching The Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching The Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching The Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching The Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching The Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching The Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to The Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching The Shop Report.
Hi, I'm Heath Bell from the New York Mets, and you're listening to The Shop Report podcast. Yeah!
Hey, I'm Josh Tolley, former catcher of the New York Mets, and you're watching The Shop Report.
This is Edgardo Alfonso for the Mets, and you're listening to Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching The Shop Report.
Hello, this is Mike Hampton, and you're watching Shop Report.
This is Herman Harvey, former NFL offensive lineman with the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, and you're listening to The Shop Report.
Oh, yeah. Just like that, we are back. The New Day made an appearance this evening, saying they originally did have a match scheduled, but they spoke to Triple H, told him LA doesn't deserve them to see them compete.
They're going full-time heel, full tilt heel, huh?
It's so funny. We spent a lot of time suggesting who, only to find out it was both.
Yeah, but doesn't it just take away the energy from them having the beef that they had?
It's been displaced.
Yeah, it was like, what was all of that for? For them to, what was all of that for? Like, do you need the New Day in the tag team picture still? Is that why?
I think so.
Okay. So
I think so. Something along the lines with that. Of course, Triple H loves triple threats. So, maybe Big E gets cleared, and then that's kind of what we're waiting on.
Right.
So some combination of the two.
Yeah, that could be helpful. Yeah, that could be.
And his name is John Cena.
Yes. And his name is John Cena. What? Oh man, so wait a minute. He came back tonight.
That's right. He officially kicks off his farewell tour and says he isn't sure what will happen this year. He doesn't know who he will face, but he will try to win his 17th world title. And he says he will enter the 2025 Royal Rumble and will try to do the impossible to win it.
Cena's going to be in the final three for sure.
Does he become the favorite for you if we were doing our best insert gambling platform here?
Our best prop bet?
Yeah.
Cena anytime Royal Rumble winner. Yeah. Cena anytime entry in the Royal Rumble. Now I think I would say Cena top 5 finish Royal Rumble.
But not victorious.
Not victorious, no. But he's gonna be top 5 finish.
Okay. I can dig
it'll
that.
It'll come down to Cena, Punk, and whom else is needed there, right? Because whoever it is, they get the right to go. They choose their champion. Wait, hold on. Let me back up for a moment. Cena is trying to get his 17th title, right?
Now that's what he said, but I have been. You've heard me advocating that
Man,
about
you
this.
Start that nonsense. Listen. It's a brand new year. Don't you start that nonsense. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You know what? Hold on. Let me be. Nope.
Yeah, so much for new year, new you, huh?
Yeah. No. You know what? No, let me let you. No, let me finish my thought first, and then I'll let you indulge us in this. We can't cuss. Never mind. Listen, would a world heavyweight title also qualify him for that record, or do he need? Oh, it wouldn't.
No, because he's had 7. He's going for 17, so he's already had that clearly. You know, we're talking about checking the box once when it comes to the Grand Slam.
No. I understand. No, what I'm saying is, let me restate because maybe I didn't listen to you in this answer. What I'm saying is, of his 17 world heavyweight titles, do some of them include? You know what? You know what, Megan? You know what? You're fired. You're fired. I'm kicking you out of the Discord. I'm disabling your account. Everything. You know, Mrs. Alva.
Pink slips.
I was a fan of yours. We were homies, Mrs. Alva. I renewed your membership. I renewed your friendship membership. Do you remember? Yeah. Well, you know what? Got to reconsider. Sorry, Mrs. Alva. Anyway, Double J, as I was saying, the 17 world heavyweight titles or world championships that he have include the WWE championship and also include the big gold belt?
Only one of the two.
What you mean only one of the two?
Well, he was specific to the type. So he said 17th world title.
Right. So the world heavyweight title is not going to be included in that? He's only referencing the Universal Championship?
Correct.
Okay. All right. People would, he won't make it out of the arena if Cody Rhodes were to drop it to him. So all right. So the way I see it, for Cena to get that world heavyweight, to get that Universal Championship, that means Cody's going to be dropping it to somebody else. I don't know if I can imagine Cody Rhodes dropping that belt to Cena. Do you?
No, I don't. And that's why I think, well, again, I'm not a head of creative here, and I don't know what is motivating John. Because when they say a tour, right? Like, obviously there's a start and end date.
Yeah.
If this is our start date, then we only have a finite amount of time in order to get this to completion.
Right.
He has now gone on record and stated what he is desiring or seeking, which is not what I've mentioned, which is something I thought he would want, which is the Grand Slam. Again, something that is attainable for not just him, but Cody, also for Sheamus.
Right.
Could we see him lose the title to Cody? I'm sorry, win the title versus Cody, get over? I wouldn't be opposed to it because then it becomes possible for Cody to then go after the other thing. But there's too much with Cody involved right now. Like in that match with Roman Reigns, Cody came out and was hammering Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he got a few things going on. He's got a few irons in the fire.
Right, his plate is full.
Yes.
So a U.S. title is not necessarily like at the top of that order, but Cody's not on tour, right? Like it's not. This isn't. To me, we have a much longer duration for Cody to achieve that. And he could pretty much fall into obscurity and get a mid-card title.
Okay.
John Cena, on the other hand, this is where it gets a little difficult for me because I don't know who's more likely to for him to get over on. When that would occur, if I were drawing this up. If you remember, like 4 months ago is when I said, wow, at least we have a little bit of time to think about this. I gave it no time. I did not think about it hard enough. And maybe I have, and yet I'm still back at square one. I don't know how to make this occur.
Gotcha.
I have no brick road for John over and become a world champion and to get a major within the next 364 days.
See, I think that we've got an incomplete subset of data. So it hasn't, so the path hasn't materialized yet.
Correct.
Because Cody's too busy with other more compelling and more realistic title defenses that John Cena picture would be force feeding. That's Cody. Then the other part is, if Cody's too busy, who else would be there for John to beat? Like John over Solo Sikoa. No, we're not seeing that, right? I don't see that. And that means that John's opponent would it be another sunsetting veteran? I think we talked about this even months ago, right? So that means Randy Orton's gonna have to come back in the picture in John Cena's path. But we want to see, we would like to see in this farewell tour, we'd like to see John Cena, the guy that from this era, from the eras before, up against the next guy. And who's next? All right. And we're not talking about Bill Goldberg. Could be talking about Braun Breaker. Oh, John versus Braun Breaker. Oh, man. That could be it. That could be it. John versus Braun Breaker. Yeah. I like the sound of that. I think you can build that up. I think you can make it worthwhile. But the only problem is that would mean Braun Breaker would get his hands on the Universal Championship in order for Cena to drop it to him, in order for Cena to get his 17th. That don't seem to add up. I just think it's something missing, right? Who's the guy that's going to be the mediator between Cody Rhodes dropping that belt and John Cena getting it, if you're not going to put John Cena over Cody Rhodes? I don't think he's here yet. Do you?
I don't. And that's, if there were one angle that came to mind just while we were kind of attempting to lay that out as well, is maybe it's via interference with someone that Cody is currently active with.
Okay. So KO would help John Cena get the shocking pin over Cody?
Why, other than the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
Or KO is like, yo, you know what I did the first time I seen you when I first showed up here?
Oh,
I can do it again. Right? Ah, man. Okay.
So a lot to consider. I wanted to get your thoughts on this because, we got Home Alone in the house, and this was something that kind of came with mixed reviews, I would say. Not him necessarily, but you could tell that a lot of the pulse from the WWE universe that was not in attendance. I'll be specific. They weren't adjusting quite yet to what I would have called a UFC style promo cuts that were taking place.
Okay.
So there were two things: that the types of commercials that occurred and the celebrity that were in attendance getting the spotlight that we traditionally have seen at PLEs. Okay. Now, for the most part, to me, this broadcast was ran like a PLE within UFC.
It, in fact, was. And this is the problem that I have with it, right? Everybody complaining about everything. So I know this is going to sound bad. I know this is going to sound, Yo, is Raw going to be like this every week? Like this, in fact, was a PLE. This, in fact, all the way, the entire card, the guests, all the way. The main event, and shout out to, if we're shooting on it, shout out to Seth Rollins putting CM Punk over in such a way.
We haven't got there yet. Thanks. Sorry.
My bad. We'll edit this. They'll see. All right. Anyway, but the entire card, the entire presentation was very much a PLE. All of it from top to bottom. I don't know if this is sustainable week to week.
Why do you say that?
Because what about Netflix makes it possible that you couldn't do it on Raw? Get what I'm saying? Like how is PLE style weekly events or PLE scale? I think that's a more accurate word. How can PLE be scaled for Netflix, but it wasn't scaled weekly for Raw? So I don't know that. I mean, because it clearly wasn't, and that's because there is a difference, and that's with respect to what WWE puts out. Because that type of magnitude, it's gonna be hard to do. I think it's hard to do.
You're starting to see. I think you've came to a similar conclusion for a different way, or in a different way that I did a while ago.
Okay.
And about how I said this would be ran when the merger took place.
Yep.
And again, I think we've taken one giant step forward with that.
Yeah.
Additionally, I think the circus is not going to be in town as frequently. I can tell you that right now. Okay. And so to answer your question, how does this become something of that sort? Well,
yes.
If every PLE, so to answer your question is two ways, because realistically, if everything was ran the same, right? Okay. Let's say this same format at a premium live event, because you're absolutely right. Tonight it fit all the criteria.
Man, it was.
So was that, in the past we would see, it's the 100th anniversary, or, insert special date here in history, and they would, kind of set it up to some extent in a similar style.
Right.
However, to my point, when you get rid of house shows and you begin to start exporting and putting up for bid your actual PLEs, which naturally now you're facing international competition. It just so happened to be announced earlier this week that yet another PLE is going to be overseas. So how do they make it go over? Well, naturally, when you're in Dubai and Cristiano Ronaldo is in attendance, it certainly beats Macaulay Culkin from your regular weekly series.
For sure. Yeah.
Additionally, how do you sustain this on a week-to-week basis? Well, guess what? If you don't go to the queue to see the show, you're not seeing it until next year or 6 months from now. It's not like, yes, that's minor holiday tour may have come through, which shout out to Cody because he came through on that. And, obviously his brother-in-law was there and the whole family was there. That was cool. But it ain't on TV. So we've already now cut tribute to the troops. We've cut most house shows. You're talking about a very small holiday tour, that keyword holiday. And then you have Monday Night Raw and or SmackDown. Those are your two shots at catching these guys live. Otherwise, in order to do it, it's like the NCAA tournament or a college football playoff game. You're going to have to travel. Like, this is something that now you're creating the demand. Take notes, Tony Khan.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because at that point in a huge venue, these dudes know I got one, here, insert, you got one chance, one opportunity.
Right.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. So, all right. So in that case, there's reduced overexposure because PLEs are being removed, or they're being trimmed down, scaled down. Consequently, because they're being scaled down, then you do less shows on Monday and a Thursday, on Monday and a Friday, and then your PLE. Less screen time, less exposure, less fatigue, and more innovation in the character talents and the characters themselves. So, yeah, okay. In that case, it becomes more of a possibility to be sustainable, to have these big PLEs type shows every week. I just remain optimistic. I remain cautiously optimistic on that, because many of us know what it's like to have a run and then all of a sudden your run or whatnot, it just stops. You don't know, so I see what you're saying. I hope it's sustainable, but I put it this way: at the very least, I appreciate it for what it is. That was the best pay-per-view I ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Now that it's on Netflix, I mean, that was the best pay-per-view I ever seen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And so we're going to keep this train rolling here. We'll take our next break, dive right into the remainder of Raw, and then, of course, name that superstar. And we will see you in a minute 30.
I'm Jordan Gudeman, and I'm the founder and CEO of Eddie G's Cookies. I was first diagnosed with a nut allergy when I was young. At the time, there weren't a lot of labeled items that said if there may contain nuts or there are nuts in the food, so my brother and sister and I baked a lot at home, and we enjoyed treats from mixes and things like that, but I noticed that it was not the same as what my friends were enjoying, and I started making my own recipes. When it was time to pick a career, I decided to start a bakery so I could share my treats with everybody else. When I started creating my recipe, I was taking in all the things that I thought I was missing out on. A soft, chewy center, a crisp outside crust, and a taste that is just like it came out of the oven at a bakery. When I put all those things together, I had come up with a recipe for a dream cookie. Eddie G's Cookies only uses the finest ingredients. We have all natural flavorings, no preservatives, and every cookie is made in a nut-free environment. The best part about Eddie G's Cookies is that they can be delivered right to your door. You can share them or not. We won't tell.
Cleaning the cracks on your pavement surfaces can take hours and be torturous on your body. Until now. Bi-Cracky Weed Removal Tool was designed specifically to clean pavement cracks in a fraction of the time, all while standing up. Bi-Cracky's patented design incorporates a two-sided steel blade and is encased by a durable fiberglass shell. Simply use the large end to clean big gaps, then rotate and use the small tip for narrow gaps. Made in the USA, Bi-Cracky eliminates weeds to the root and is environmentally friendly. Bi-Cracky, save your back while you clean your crack.
All right, just like that, we are back, and we had Logan Paul, the artist formerly known as Logan Paul, who retired, now says wrestling is no longer a side hustle, and he is now a full-time superstar.
I want to see Logan Paul versus Daddy Dom at a match.
I think we might be one step further towards that happening because we did have a change in women's champion. Rhea has ultimately defeated Liv and became the new champion. Obviously, as you see, Dom got a kick in the crown jewels. And, of course, that then led to a surprise appearance and a great pop at that from the American Badass Scott, otherwise known as the Undertaker, with, of course, that traditional theme music that you could tell a lot of kids were not hip to that era of him.
Right.
They were like, I thought his music should have been with this, or why did the music change? Like, I was really surprised, and it felt really old.
Yeah, professional. There's a lot that goes into it. We got to understand, as fans, we got to understand this is a soap opera. This is General Hospital. This is One Life to Live. This is Santa Barbara, if anybody remembers that. This is Loving, if anybody remembers those. This is Knots Landing. This is Dallas. Okay, this is what professional wrestling is. It is a soap opera. A lot of things happen, and the story constantly moves, though the characters essentially stay the same, in that you have the Undertaker is the Undertaker. There is an American Badass era, right? And it happened so long ago. It happened. Listen, we're in 2025. It literally happened 4 generations ago. How many eras have happened? How many eras have there been since 2000 and 2001, 2002? Right. That was Attitude Era. Then there was Ruthless Aggression. Then there was the PG era. Then there was what?
The Triple H era?
Yeah. Then there was the Network era, the WWE Network era, right? That's been around for 12 years now. The WWE Network was been, what, 2013, 2014? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
2014, 10 years. 10 years. So it's so many eras have happened before that. Like, it's surprising that us being fans of it recognize it as, oh yeah, we remember that. But dude, I'm gonna tell you what, some of us, a great deal of us, are grandparents now. Do you realize that?
Man, don't be rushing me, bro.
Like, do you realize that? Like, this is 25 years ago. This is 25 years ago. A quarter of a century ago. Yes, there are going to be kids who watched wrestling every day from the day that they were born and have no idea, because they've got to go back 10 years from before they were born to see it. So a 13-year-old is like, who? Because, you know what I'm saying, if they're a 13-year-old, that is, bro, that's 2012.
As a parent of a 14-year-old, yes.
Yeah, so it is. I'm not depressed or heartbroken. I'm amazed, actually. It's actually pretty impressive. I'm amazed at the fact that this era has happened at such a time ago, with that there are kids, there are fans, there are diehard fans of WWE that don't know that this happened. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, and it does take you back a little bit, and I don't know how there's with information, right? We're at a time in our lives where information access and familiarize themselves with this version of Taker and his character development, and certainly even get behind the scenes of it. Matter of fact, I was watching a clip earlier of them. It was Triple H, who clearly was in his Hunter Hearst Helmsley era. You had Razor Ramon. They were playing the arcade WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And Taker was just like, he was over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, it's interesting because, again, that predates, of course, you know, this is pre-Degeneration X. This is all pre-Attitude Era. So naturally, his character development, the one that we're actually referencing, hadn't even occurred yet.
Right.
And so, but just, again, you can stumble across a clip like that and then, you know, immediately can immerse you back to when that occurred. So I would encourage those kids to definitely go back and take advantage of that because it's more readily available. I mean, look, we were able to find something that you were harassed and told it didn't occur.
Yeah. 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 Right. Yeah.
So believe me, that stuff is out there. We've seen ECW dropping formerly unreleased, you know, lost tapes again.
Right.
So the stuff is now out there, which is great. So take advantage of it, of course. And again, I thought it was I don't know if this was a passing of the torch in a strange way, because I thought Taker had did that to Bray Wyatt.
No, I don't think this was a passing of the torch. I mean, American Badass Taker to Rhea Ripley, I don't know if it was passing of the torch. I think it was, I mean, it was a nod. You know what I'm saying? Just like it was exactly what it presented itself to be at the time, right? So nothing less, but nothing more.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take it at face value then. And I do want to ask, because there were 2 matches in 2 hours. And one of the comments that I had read was this was like a Raw infomercial.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Oh, right on time.
Yes. 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 Right on time. Yeah. Starving. Yes. You are absolutely.
I mean, impeccable timing. That is literally what we were talking about right now. This is the part that I was worried about, right? But when they said, okay, we're taking it back to 3 hours, I thought, okay, we get 2 hours of actual programming. We get 1 hour worth of ads.
Let me explain something to you.
Well, fair enough. Go on.
How long did we take a break?
Not nearly long enough.
No. How long did we take a break?
A minute and 30 seconds. Well, maybe.
No. I'm talking about like, you know, the shows when we coming up. It's like how many, like the Turnbuckle. We've been kind of gone for a couple of weeks, right?
Well, yeah, because you wanted to.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is all things you say, reason, irrespective of reason. And I mean, not to say that I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, we took a break. But here's what we did: we made sure that January 7th we were here. It was the big event. It was a PLE. So yes, what I want to say to you, Starving Artist, I like it, is this was to be expected. Okay, yes, I agree. This was to be expected for as big of an event as this is. Everybody wanted to get their billboard up, right? This was the place to be. It was new. It was just as new as having the end up having a doubleheader on Christmas Day from Netflix. Netflix is transitioning to a fully functional. They're evolving into Peacock. They're evolving into their competitors, having already solidified one aspect of the business. How it relates to WWE is the sort of the novelty or the nuance of it being on network TV, it being on the streaming platform. It's something new, a new aura about it. We knew everybody knew there was going to be here, right? That people were going to be here. So they got their ad up. So I think Netflix sold a lot more space or made available a lot more advertising space just because it was new. It was a fresh set of eyes. I do agree with you, Starving, though. Understand what I'm saying is I'm trying to justify, for argument's sake, I'm trying to justify why we saw so many ads, but also help to empathize with you that I don't think this should continue, right? Well, this shouldn't be commonplace for Raw going forward.
See, and that's another good point, is that I saw not just empty seats, but I saw empty seats in the front row.
Okay. All right. So why is that so concerning? You say, hold on, wait. But Starvin say he expected this from Saturday Night Main Event, but not from this. And is that because, simply put, because Netflix is already a premium product?
Yeah, that there's a paywall involved.
All right, there's a significant paywall involved, right? Because did Netflix drop their ad
price?
No, drop their ad tier. The tier that is Netflix with ads. Does that still exist?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. So even with Netflix with ads, even if you're paying for a premium, you still got hit with
the same amount of ads is $7.
Okay, so we got Netflix with ads while we got a new show
with more ads.
All right, so now I'm starting to understand. Yep. All right, now I can understand how. Okay, you see, hey, we can learn something even from the show. Now I can understand more of Starvin's concern. I get it, because we got exactly.
But see, listen to this is my issue though, because you've heard me say the less bumps, more what is it? More, I'll call it bites in this case, meaning more promos and more vignettes, and so that's the issue that I have with it is. That's not. I've already had major concerns with a 2-hour program and fully expected the ads. By the way, to my chagrin, I am not for that whatsoever because of the paywall. To me, I was actually worried how they were going to be able to keep it up without ads potentially. And initially, that was kind of the ideology or thesis of mine with it, which was, okay, 2 hours, no ads or very limited ads means you could charge a premium for them. And you now have potentially more bumps occurring, but they're not doing that either.
Would you rather see the ads or more vignettes or more talking? But because we got to understand that, like I've said before, I maintain that professional wrestling is performance theater, and it's operated in a different way. But it is theater, so there has to be something to allow the fitting rooms, allow wardrobe changes, allow resetting from one story to another. There has to be a mechanic in order to allow for that to happen in a suitable way. I don't know that I would like to see as many ads. Yeah, all right, Starving. Yep. So I don't know that I would see many. I'm I would expect to see a bit more ads than I would see on night one. I would have expected to see more ads than I will expect to see in the future. I'm thinking night one, maybe night two, or next week, week after. You might see this because there's excitement, but you got to have the transitions. My point is, I think I would prefer sometimes seeing the ads versus bad dialogue and corny stories. Because
right,
if it's
do you see his points though, dude, during the matches? Like, again, that's where I'm drawing a line in the sand with that too.
Yeah, because they even broke up the main event that way, right?
Correct. And that's where it's like, come on.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, okay. See, that's where if you wanted to have that ad time, that's where you run the ad in split screen with the match. You run the Snickers ad while you see
that to some extent too. That's what I mean. Like, they were mixing and matching every possible option. It was like they overbooked, in my opinion.
They overbooked the ads.
Yeah, I mean, there was no format to my knowledge that wasn't utilized.
Yes, so I'm saying that, putting my corporate hat on, I get it for today because it's all new. They still you have to figure this out. Like, you have to figure it out, and you don't really know. So we got to see what works. So perhaps the overabundance of ads and the different ad types is they're still trying to figure out what works because there is some type of chasm, if you will, that suggests that you present this on Netflix differently than you do on network TV.
I'm telling you right now, they ran it like a UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah, Starvin, you're right, but we
already
right,
paid
Starvin.
for this. That
and
he is
he's right, and I'm saying right. He's right. So yes, at the expense of me sounding like I'm flip flopping and back and forth, I feel like both of these ideas, I see traction with both of these ideas at the same time. Right? I'm not saying I'm on one side or the other. I do see the logic in it because
usually you see me taking the corporate approach with this, but even I thought it was overkill.
Yeah.
Because at some point you're interrupting the program. There's a flow.
Right.
Right. Like UFC, I get it. There's a level of unpredictability within a UFC format, right? Like, we don't know if a match is going to go 3 rounds, 5 rounds, or 1 round.
Right.
You know, that level of unpredictability can allow for the need to pump in a ton of some combination of vignettes, or essentially, or and certainly more ad time.
So I would say, has a compromise, if you will. Yes. That absolutely, Starving. If there's one absolute no, because it would affect my subscription. If there's one absolute you can't do is you cannot run ads over the show that I'm signed up to watch, because I already paid for it to be ad free. And WWE Network didn't suggest how much or indicate how ads would be presented to me such that we would be prepared for that. Yep. So yeah, Starving. He hitting on all cylinders, right? You're right. So I don't care how you run the ads, but if there is a match going on, that ad, if you're gonna run that ad, should split the screen. For example, why would you?
It felt like NASCAR, bro.
Why don't you run the ad in between the vignette?
This is okay. I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't no? Because we know the reason why, right? You wouldn't run the ad during the vignette or to break it up. during the vignette to give us a suspense, like, oh, he opened the door. Who behind the door? Let's cut. Let's get a stack or two or whatever else. Come back. He opened the door, and then the vignette continues. We ain't doing that. Why not? We should, because if we can interrupt the midpoint of the main event, which was a great main event, by the way, with an ad, we should be able to interrupt all the different parts. So I would say, look, don't ever interrupt the match with an ad, especially because, again, us being professional wrestling fans, we know what we're watching, right? We know what we're watching, and we know what it is. But still, the suspension of disbelief is that it's unpredictable. So nothing tells me that this match is scripted more than the fact that you have time to run an ad, knowing that when the ad come back, he's not ringing a bell and people not asking what the heck happened, right? You get what I'm saying? Takes you out of the idea that this is unpredictable. So having the ads, you can't run ads interrupting matches. You said the entrances were way too long to make ad breaks. Yeah. And I think that was a case, but I think a lot of this was a case of these are not the standards to follow. Because it's so new, they have to figure out what may or may not work. So
I'm not convinced on that part, dude. Like,
you think that this is
this was ran like a PLE.
Say again?
Because the format met the criteria of a PLE, to suggest that this was all completely brand new to them. No, they fused both worlds, which was the UFC's format with their traditional format, and it blended like zucchini and cilantro. Like, it just was gross. It was not something that,
man, zucchini and cilantro. You got to see, you add a couple other things, man. You got some dip. No, but yeah, okay. So you saying this is their format. So this is the familiar for you. This is the familiar, and probably starving. This is a familiar setup for you. When you watch a PLE, like, cause I'm trying to replay a PLE in my mind.
Yeah, dude, Clash at the Castle, they did this crap. Mania is notorious the last 2 years for having I would miss parts of matches. Like, how, when I'm already logged into something else where I can't escape, where I can't change the channel like I could on Raw.
Yeah.
Because now I got to potentially re-sign in.
Right. Yeah, we are.
So I'm letting this thing run, right?
Yep. We are a more captive audience. You're absolutely. You know what? That is something to think about. We are a more captive audience. We can't just jump unless Netflix builds that mechanic. Watch and browse. Oh,
they won't allow it.
Yeah, no, that would disrupt their business. Yeah, a watch and browse, like while you looking at a title.
Right. The same way, again, Xfinity does this with certain things where you can't fast forward or rewind.
I'm saying watch and browse, like it's up in the menu playing while you scan for something to watch.
And absolutely, see, this is where I'm with starving here. That
no, and I think I was trying to get there. That's ultimately what I was saying. Like, this is your premiere. This is it. While you're saying they still structured it like a PLE, it still was very new. So I think we saw a lot of things that they were experimenting. We saw a lot of experimentation, but then once they figure out what's going to work, they will scale it back. Those interests will become shorter. I just know for you, like I said, we cannot have another match interrupted by an ad. Like, this isn't watching your favorite movie that's on TV now. This isn't watching Terminator 2 on network television,
And see, that right there, dude, is the biggest part that needs to be watched, right? We on this program, Starving, have talked ad nauseum about numbers, and we've had Dave Meltzer's numbers that can be interpreted however someone would like, about network versus platform versus open air and just broadcast, whatever. So going week to week, right? We already seen an issue, to your point, about Saturday Night Main Event and how they ran it, and we saw the numbers dive where network was not thrilled.
Yes.
With how bad that fell off. So we will see probably, I know Michael Cole at one point did say this was the highest recorded number, and there was some kind of stat there.
I will never believe anything that they say about their numbers. They're always the highest ever, forever, and all time. And we broke a record. We broke a record. They break records every week. It is a broken record that they break records.
Fair enough. Well, the point with that is it'll be interesting to see if this format does not adjust in any way, shape, or form, or even if it does, how the numbers follow it.
Yo, fans like Starvin, like myself, like yourself, we need to find a way to make sure that we make that known. I think they're going to look at the comments as well. I think they're going to look at the comments, review the comments and reactions and what Twitter and Facebook and all are saying, for them to be able to get the hint that, like, yo, this isn't sustainable. But I hope they do. You know what I'm saying? I really hope they do.
Agreed. And kind of diving back into this, I found this a little interesting. It was, of course, Dark Gable suggesting that he wanted to face a luchador next week. Now, and again, we should know who that is, but I just thought that was strangely specific.
That is heel speak. He's trying to get a reaction. He's trying to go that route, insulting a countryman. That's how you start. You know what? Why don't?
But here's the thing. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but I told you, like, Ray Phoenix and Penta were, the tag team were coming over. Yeah. But then Tony Khan pulled a Triple H with a medical extension of a contract that basically took Ray out for like a year. And so obviously Penta was pretty much ready to rock, and had been signed for a while. So clearly that's who Gable's going to be facing. And so he's thinking Dragon Lee. To me, I think it's going to be the new guy, the new signing. And I just thought it was strange that, of all things, that was kind of a relatively lazy setup. I mean, talk about a layup, man, for a debut.
Yeah.
But if that turns out to be the case, look, we got, maybe Starving's right and it somehow is Dragon Lee, but I think it's going to be the new signee.
That's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. See that?
Right. That'll be fine. That'll be great.
But okay, I want to talk about this, right? So we talk about new eras and such. So we get, again, Triple H went to Travis Scott's show a while back. I mentioned that, and of course gave him the hardcore belt, and then like promptly was like, "Don't dance around with this. Give me, like, this is a 1-on-1. Give me that back." It was kind of awkward. But Travis Scott comes out smoking at least what appeared to be either a joint or a blunt,
a marijuana cigarette,
potentially, or something hand rolled at least. And I did not have that on my bingo card.
You didn't? They said that.
Well, I know it's legal in the state of California. It's legal, right? But
okay, if you didn't have this specific event on your bingo card, all right, that's fine. But the idea of it is them going to Netflix, knowing what type of content Netflix can produce, understanding that WWE had in no uncertain terms stated that the content would be, let's say, they'll make content as they would decide to, right, for entertainment. So it might be a bit more suggestive or what have you. So this part and parcel with the course. Yeah. So yeah. Again, I don't really have much more to say about it. Like it's like I expected this, right? I expected this to happen, and it's not legal in public. Well, therein lies a rub. He was an entertainer. He might be able to get away with something. We'll see we'll see if any charges get filed. And then he can also say it wasn't real. Yeah, tell us how you really feel, Starvin. Tell us how you really feel.
And ultimately here, YEET, of course, was victorious. I almost thought he looked like Solo there for a second. I had to.
Yeah, he do. He looked a little. He took a couple of the meals.
A little holiday.
Yeah, a little holiday, right?
But again, to Starving's point, dude, the crowd was kind of dead. Like they got a contact and they put him to sleep.
Yeah. So.
But is this by this point though? This is the interesting takeaway, right? Okay. Is this a byproduct of the fact that there were so many interruptions that it disrupted the flow of the crowd?
Yes. This is Starving's point. This is your point, and this is the one. Yeah, this is the one I see. Too many interruptions for whatever reason to sell more ads. Or what have you, it's a disconnect. And what we're talking about is when we look at WWE in particular, fan engagement is the life's blood of sports entertainment. There are certain sports, when we look at sports, right? Fan engagement in basketball isn't required in the sense of you're going to be wild, you're going to be enthralled or amused at what the talent on the court is if they, and I use that. This is a bad time for that example considering the ratings are down, but ideally understand, get what I'm saying? Like the fans don't necessarily participate in making those moments happen in the same fashion that Raw does. Or sports entertainment does, because there's a catchphrase that we want to engage for. There's theme songs that we want to sing, and those moments create such a powerful wave of connection and enjoyment and flow state for the fans involved and for the talent involved. You need fans to stay actively engaged in it. So going back to your point, Starving, too many ads, too long a time, you ruin the thing that really makes professional wrestling. It is fan connection to the performance on screen. That is really why we watch it. We watch it so that way we all can look to our left and right and say, wow, did you see that? We watch it so that way we can see my man's face when Brock beat the streak. That's actually what we're looking for. We watch it such that when we see Shawn Michaels achieves the boyhood dream in an Iron Man match, it's all of us around watching this one moment happen. It's that connection, right? And then the banter between it, right? The banter that we have back and forth. Right? I'm looking at Starvis' comment. It requires us to be engaged in order for us to be impressed, right? Why is The Rock still, or Cena still, or CM Punk still among the best we've ever seen? Is because when they're on the mic or they're in the match, they involve us, whether directly or indirectly, with what they're doing. So fans got to stay interested. And if you're going to have them there for 3 hours, you have a tough job to do because you're selling the 3 hours to sell the ad revenue that you're going to get. In addition to make the people at the arena buy more merch and buy more food, you gotta be able to balance that. That's the challenge that you take, right? Good does what good is what's required to be good. Better does what's required to be better. If you are the best and you are the greatest, you have to do what's required to be great. So if it's a 3-hour show, I should never. It has to be a hard time for me to get bored. And you have to sell those ads that you have for that ad space. Yeah, that's the challenge. That's what you got to do because you're great. Because you're WWE, you're great. You're not AEW. You're not TNA. You're not Ring of Honor. You're WWE. You say you can do this. You say you can do this, so do it.
So speaking of doing it, again, Roman Reigns says he will do this, being Raw again on the 27th, and enters a locker room with, of course, WWE 2K25 on it also. So it's likely going to have Roman on the cover, is my guess.
This would have been the ideal year to put your new talent on the cover. Why doesn't Cody? Did Cody get the cover last year?
They had 2 versions. Let's see here. Yes, it was Cody on the cover.
Yo, Starvin is on it. Yo, he said, I looked at those things. Wow. Yeah.
Now, you see my point, though, Gully, about why this is now trending towards the circus is no longer in town, and this is how you create a demand for a larger venue, Tony Khan.
Right.
First, but do it in a micro format, Tony Khan. Yeah, see, Starvin's point was Cody and Rhea.
Last year?
Yep.
Okay. All right. He got the cover last year. I got you. So,
bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Cringe of the day. Man, my man. Do you remember in Hey Ma when they did that dance at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what Hulk Hogan looked like when he came out.
Yeah,
the leg.
man. Yeah, and you know, like it's sad because
they booed Hulk Hogan
for a different set of reasons. I don't know.
Poor Jimmy Hart, man. He caught strays.
Right.
Bro.
Yeah, he caught the stray of strays, right? He caught a whole clip of strays. Hulk Hogan is the pariah of wrestling that R. Kelly is to R&B. I think he's less embarrassing than Ric Flair because Ric Flair is just old.
Well, and he's a drunk. But I mean, as far as like what happens, you know.
Yeah. So, but with the history that Hogan has now, and his legacy's kind of been compromised already. This here, just like Austin say, the artist say, starving artist say, starving says, this was gross. It's it's hard for us to detach who you are publicly from what you've also shared sort of publicly and private.
But hang on a second. Something I want to point out is he said the word. He said Macho Man.
Yeah.
Right? With that rumor of Steph and Macho. And then he comes back, and I feel like, man, his promo was like, I think he panicked. And he reverted to what he thought might get a pop. that conversation that we talked about where the person asked him about that, and so it was fresh on his mind. He's like, oh my gosh, let me try to throw some names out here. And it just was like, okay, grandpa, time for bed.
Yeah.
It was cringe, man. And I couldn't believe that I was saying that, but
right.
But it has gotten that bad that he's somewhat, I don't know if it's like, if we find out he has dementia or something, then then of course my moral compass will steer me back the right direction. But I don't like the booze. I thought they trotted him out in the wrong city. I get what they were trying to do.
Okay, what's the right city then?
I don't know. Maybe Miami, Florida, Tampa.
Yeah, sir. Miami. But wait a minute, wasn't Hulk Hogan billed from Venice Beach, California? Yeah, he was.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. But dude, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Let's think about that. Like, remember, WCW was a Southern promotion,
right?
and that's exactly my point. Is the exploitations in order to get the pop. And I think that's unfortunate that I don't know why that desperation is there like that. But I think it was noted by those. It was in. Yeah, just like he was going to drop that title, right?
Right.
Oh man, yeah. So I mean, I have nothing more on that. I felt bad for Jimmy Hart, who was singing all the lyrics.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart he caught it. Oh man, he tried his best, and he could kind of know it. Like he had the glasses, so he could kind of know it.
Hey, bro, at one point you could tell he was kind of like. It was like that old Dave Chappelle clip, like wrap it up, you know, like
right, like yo, wrap it up, yeah.
See, exactly. That's where I would have paraded him out if I was hoping for a different result. But I would probably limit it to close to 20 miles from his home or something of that sort. And so another. Pop was made by Nikki. I'm sorry, Nikki. Brie. No, that is Nikki. I'm doing that on purpose. But of course,
how could you lose? Like,
well, right. Well, remember the one is not allowed because of the husband.
Oh.
But here's the thing, though. Oh, conveniently, the same night that John Cena's back. And you became recently single, and she was shaking it for the camera. Yeah, look at that right there in Tampa.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'll be in Orlando, somewhere Central Florida, in a month. Aiden was invited to go to Disney tournament with a team out of Mexico, coincidentally. So fantastic, more expenses. Speaking of main event, our main event of the evening. So again, you're seeing how big these gaps are, and then there's promo here. And
hold on, Starving. She wasn't looking too bad.
I see his point.
That's true. It might be possible that
like she's on the sauce or something.
Nah, whoa, I won't go that far. But let's just say she looked pretty good. Like when you say, it's hard to, man, you gotta watch how you say it. Like I've seen better days. She's seen better days.
Sure, right. That's fair.
But once you say that, oh no, here come the misogynistic, here come that right. And I don't want none of that energy. I didn't think she looked bad. I didn't think she looked bad at all. Thought she looked pretty well. It was great to see her again. But I could be alone in that, Starving. I don't know. But
so I was torn on this because for a few reasons. Obviously, you caught this as well, but Punk getting put over, and Seth looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But I thought, considering there was a ton of hype behind this, and despite it being okay, it felt still a little flat.
You said this felt flat to you?
It did a little bit. See, look at it. This is my. See,
yeah.
Talking about the sauce. Yeah. So I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like the best thing I've seen. But I don't know. It was okay.
I kind of get, well, I don't know, man.
But hang on. Did you catch this part of Punk kind of it almost seemed like he said something to the ref, like to check on Seth. Like, did Seth get hurt?
No, I don't know. You talk about that, it was that knee injury.
Right.
It's hard to tell because I think they've played on that before.
Okay. So that was the only thing that kind of stuck out to me. That was like, oh, maybe that altered kind of the ultimate product here with it. But I don't know if I'm being overly critical when it was only the fourth match of a 3-hour show.
Okay, so yeah, let's take that into consideration. For 3 hours, 4 matches, not enough. That means these guys was running for a while. Even if you stretch out and you put ads or whatnot, you know, all the other time sinks or time extenders, time fillers that they have, they still ran for a while.
Yeah, they ran long, and unfortunately, let's see here. He said the knee off the table sell. Okay.
Right. And because we've seen that from Rollins before. I think he sold that. I think he sold that in other matches or in other angles before.
Yeah. So they booked this with the ads like it was a UFC pay-per-view. And this is why you need wrestling people still involved. And I don't know if Triple H was just saying just a yes man to this or what, because everything from the ring mirrored or echoed what you've seen traditionally from UFC, amongst other things. So it is going to have to be updated, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Any thoughts from you before we jump into the quick rapid fire segment for announced for next week?
Yeah, I need to fix my camera angles because even I look like I was asleep.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yo, I just looked down because of the way I cut my camera. I need to fix that. All right. First of all, we're not going to scrap that one. But, all right. The match ran a bit long, considering it was only the fourth match. I still like the idea. I like the finish. I like the finish. I thought it was good. I thought it was a great match. One of the best ever. I'm not sure about that, but they could have, it would have. This is as good a premiere on a network as I've ever seen. Yes. Yeah. So The Rock got to be like, maybe not.
Right.
Yeah. But, yeah, so taking too many finishers. Was it too many finishers? For me, I think it was getting close. It was kind of, but I don't think it was too much. However, I would say if it had happened 1 or 2 more times, then I would have thought so. And if they had time permitted, it probably would have went that way, where they did that finisher, GTS and the curb stomp. almost excessively. But I think it was at the warning track, but it wasn't overboard for me. The idea that Punk got the win, the idea that Seth put him over, if we're shooting on it, that to me was pretty surprising. I'm not gonna lie, that surprised me. I fully expected Seth to walk out of this match the winner.
Yeah, similarly, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, so now we've got the
bingo
feud for sure. But I mean, 1 kick out or 2 kick outs. What's wrong with that? Now 5 to 8 is a bit much, because at that point, is your finisher really a finisher anymore? If it doesn't finish you, right? If it don't put you at,
dude, it felt like he had freaking Undertaker strength. Like, just that's what I'm saying. It's too much.
Yeah. Okay. So
or Super Cena power, something along those lines.
So how are we gonna put the genie back in the bottle? You know what I'm saying? How can we do that? Right. We see the overselling or the underselling of setups and finishers for the purpose of making a longer match at the expense of, your blueprint, right? Like, what's it Jake the Snake says? He says about his DDT versus all the DDTs you see. He says, the difference between my DDT and everybody else's that does it is you don't get up from mine. You know what I'm saying? So I get what he's saying. I fully track with that. And I think for the preservation of what we like about wrestling is that the idea that this move here finishes a match. And you might be able to get a 2 count or whatnot once, maybe twice, but no more than that. Probably I think once is enough. So play some emphasis on finishers being finishers. That way, it's a cue to the audience, to the crowd. Like, all right, cool. We get the transition. We get to go get a snack, get a drink, use the restroom or whatever, and then moves us forward. But when you do 3 or 4 or 5 finishers, you were taking away what in fact makes you a formidable opponent, if we're talking about in the confines of professional wrestling. When talking about it as a work, you doing your finishes dilutes your work, and we don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. I think so.
Well, good deal. And let's see here. We got a few comments. They need to dial it back a bit. Big moves worth something. I heard that. It was great. Takes care of the wrestlers too. An armbar used to be a submission move. I don't disagree with any of that.
No, I don't either. I really don't.
All right. Really don't. A quick rapid fire segment. So announced for next week's Raw. Again, we have Chad Gable versus a luchador. Who you got?
I'm going to take the luchador.
All right. Sheamus versus Kaiser on a roll.
You know what? Give me Kaiser.
Lyra versus Dakota Kai for the IC title.
Dakota.
All right. And then it's what we see here in the image, which is Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in a street fight.
Yeah, Finn Balor's going to get some help, but he's going to get that. He's going to get over.
And we got Starvin saying they forget that they can help temper fan expectations to some degree.
He's picking Kaiser.
All right.
Good deal. All right, and then we're going to take our final break of the night and dive into Name That Superstar before we head out.
All right, bet.
See you shortly.
Yep.
This K Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Homie Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report.
It's Bryce McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Smith. We're at Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching the Shop Report.
Hi, I'm Heath Bell from the New York Mets, and you're listening to the Shop Report podcast. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Josh Tolley, former catcher of the New York Mets, and you're watching the Shop Report.
This is Edgardo Alfonso for the Mets, and you're listening to Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doc Gooden, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Hello, this is Mike Hampton, and you're watching Shop Report.
This is Herman Harvey, former NFL offensive lineman with the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, and you're listening to the Shop Report.
All right, and just like that, we are back.
All right, here we go.
All right, so we got Starvin's picks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and of course, to wrap up our evening, we have Name That Superstar. Of course, this is the segment where, again, folks like Starvin as well, feel free to throw in your guesses as well. And basically what this is, I'm going to give Gully a image of either the current individual, if they're still here, or the most up-to-date photo of them that was available. And if it happens to be post-mortem, typically I do mention that. So in this case, this individual is still here. And D. Gully, I'm going to give you a few clues here. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So here is the picture of the superstar in question. And this individual began his career in the late 90s and ultimately joined WWE in 2001. He was a part of a faction which feuded specifically with other tag teams during that era. He did compete as a singles wrestler, and he actually was an IC champion. However, he did also compete in a otherwise forgotten tag team title fatal four-way at WrestleMania. D. Gully, name that superstar.
IC champ.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm throwing the name out there. Steven Richards.
Incorrect.
All right, hold on. Run that clue list back for me again.
Mm-hmm. All right. So again, this individual was a part of a faction, joined the company in 2001.
He joined in 2001. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Starving says Charlie Haas. Close, but that is not it.
Man. All right. 2001 was part of a forgettable fatal four-way at WrestleMania. Tag team fatal four-way at WrestleMania, right?
That's right.
Nah, man. You gotta. I'm struck out.
All right, so the superstar here is none other than Rob Conway. Rob Conway began his career in the late 90s and joined WWE in 2001. Became a member of the faction otherwise known as La Resistance, which, of course, had feuded with other tag teams. He competed as a singles wrestler, winning the IC title in 2004. And he was at WrestleMania 20 in that tag team match. They didn't hold the title long. They actually lost it to the team of William Regal and Eugene. And then they also had lost it to Jiri and Rhino.
Wow.
That's right.
Jiri and Rhino.
All right. We do have time for one more.
Get one more.
Hey, Starvin was close, dude. I was like, and here we go. D Gully, name that superstar. This individual here, let's see, was of course, a skilled wrestler and still continues to wrestle to this day. He did compete at a WrestleMania as a forgotten participant in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And he also participated in a WrestleMania IC title ladder match. D Gully, name that superstar.
IC title ladder match. Andre the Giant Memorial Rumble. IC title ladder match. Hold on. Give me a second. Primo.
Close, but no. I was going to mention as a additional hint, he participated post WrestleMania 30, just for because I didn't really give a time frame there. But I was hoping the Andre the Giant thing.
Oh, wait. Hold on, post WrestleMania 30. Oh my gosh, what's my man's name? He's masked, right?
That would be correct, yes.
Oh gosh, hold on. Oh man.
If it helps, today he actually goes by a different name.
No, it's the name. I'm missing the name because I know. Oh man. No, his name is in my memory bank in my mind. I know his name is behind the door, and I can't get to it. The door is locked, and his name is in there. He's like, you know what I'm saying? I know where it's at, but the door is locked.
Oh man. So I know you're close. I know you're actually very close. I was hoping that your clues would have actually potentially given enough to Starving to get him over the top.
Yeah. Boy, what's that guy's name? Shit. Taki mushrooms. Yeah, I know it's
Oh dude, you're gonna be fuming when you realize.
No, because I'm gonna figure it out. We got like a minute left. I'm gonna figure it out. And I'm gonna go on private chat because I don't even want the comments to ruin it. Because I think Starving's gonna get it. Oh man, hold on. What's that guy's name? Oh my gosh.
This is fantastic.
I know it. Hold on.
So again, he's still active today.
I know he is. Ah, man, what's his name, bro? We gotta let people go.
All right, fair enough. Unfortunately, Gully, you're like I said, you are really gonna be upset when you
because yes,
Sin Cara.
Yes, I knew it. Yeah, that's what I say. I'm like, yeah, without care. Yeah, right. I wasn't gonna get it. I was right. I was right at the doorstep. I wasn't gonna get this. I wasn't gonna get his name.
So again, Sin Cara, of course, was had a ton of in-ring ability, and he competed at several WrestleManias but also was a forgotten participant in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, as well as WrestleMania 32, where the IC title ladder match he participated in. But as of 2023, he was wrestling as Cinta de Oro. I did not want to use the image of him with Rey Mysterio because that would have given it away.
Sure.
So D Gully 0 for 2 on the day.
Yeah, and it should have been 1 for 1 because I his name was not. It was there. His name was not coming to me. Like even his mask. You know what I'm saying? I knew exactly who you're talking about with the mask. His name wasn't going. Yeah, I wasn't going to get there.
All right. Well, that concludes our, of course, new era of
our new era of the Shop Report of the Turnbuckle. Yep, go ahead.
That's right. We should be returning, I believe, Wednesday. So tomorrow, once again, fantastic. And again, final thoughts. We didn't have 4 matches in 3 hours, so I thought we did all right.
Yeah, we had a few subjects in 2 hours, but yeah, it is new, it is fresh, it's still pretty surreal to have Raw on Netflix. Like our fans that maybe have watched and commented, you know, some are commented like Starving. Thank you again. I think the ads and the manner in which the ads and the pacing was all because it was new and they want to get their footing. That's what I hope. So that way we can get better value for our entertainment dollars, because Netflix, while Netflix has Raw, Netflix is something we've already paid for access. So because of that, I hope they keep that in mind with the number of ads that they show, right? That being said, I think the newness, I hope it's slow to wear off. And I hope they keep the interest and engagement up. Exactly. I think it's Sin Cara 2. Double J?
No. It's the one who was unmasked.
Oh. All right. That.
So that would be Jorge or Arias Rodriguez. Yeah, so that would be the original, to my understanding.
Okay.
Because he's the one that's still doing the Cinta de Oro character today.
Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, with Raw, calm the ads down, get the pacing right. I think what we saw is just the newness, the freshness, and them learning what they have. I guess them showcasing what they have, realizing what they have, and then learning to dial it down. More matches, less ads, and no more ads interrupting matches. Run them side by side. I actually kind of think that's kind of cool. You know, they take the short 30-second ad while they have like the game running. NFL is the example that I'm looking at. Yeah, NASCAR as well. The laps are still going while you're still running the ad. That being said, we in WrestleMania season. We have no idea how this is going to shake out. Not certain what's the next chapter in Cody Rhodes' story. A lot of things are wide open. I don't think we have some necessary data for us to figure that out, but we'll get in a short time, I think. But before the Rumble, I actually I'm liking what I see from WWE. You know, I'm a fan. I'll be watching it, and they gave me a reason to keep watching it. So, lastly, I'm really impressed with the program. Though we say what we will about the match that they had, the program that we'll see between Seth and CM Punk. I hope that carries us into Mania. And I can't wait for a night one main event with CM Punk and Seth for a world heavyweight title. That's what I'm looking for. That's the biggest takeaway from Raw, from the WWE Network, or from WWE on Netflix. That's the biggest takeaway from Wrestling. We finally got that program that I think we've been wanting for a long time. Personal issues included, personal issues aside, it's going to be some great matches. That being said, man, we'll see y'all on Wednesday.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great show. Special thanks to Starvin and everybody that participated and is with us. And we look forward to seeing you on our structured program, Talking Sports, on Wednesday, and potentially some After Dark on Saturday as well. So until then, if you want to know what's going on,
next time you want to know, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome.
Holla.